Hello, today I want to chat to you about navigating the holidays. Sometimes we can have this holiday chaos. So, here in this video, I'm going to talk about my 5 tips for surviving and enjoying Christmas with your family without feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. So, the holiday season is normally a time that is highly anticipated by many. We put a lot as women, we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves, but it's also a time when people look forward to spending some quality time with their family, enjoying good food, and participating in various festive activities. However, the holiday season can also be really stressful and anxious, with pressure to make everything look and be perfect, especially regarding when it comes to the family dynamics. And it's easy as women to feel very overwhelmed and exhausted. Now, I was someone who was a owner of a very busy hairdressing and beauty salon. And leading up to Christmas, I would work 7 days in order to be able to make sure that everybody looked and felt their best through this period. Now, I am a mum of two older teenagers now, but at the time my children were young. I didn't have any family or support. It was just me and my husband here in Australia. So I was running a busy salon, fitting everybody in, working late nights, working the 7 days, but also making sure that my children were, going to the activities. I mean, I loved it when they broke up from school because that gave me an extra couple of hours each day to fit more clients in. So I really understand the importance of what Christmas is about, but also how busy one can be leading up to this Christmas period. And sometimes you can actually put more upon yourself trying to make it perfect. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, it doesn't end up being perfect because you've put so much pressure on. And I also understand the importance of balancing, your own self-care. And, I'd have my parents and my family over from the UK. So they would come for a long period of time. So once again, looking after them as well and their needs. And also when I lived in the UK, we didn't live near either my in-laws or my parents. So, once again, that they would come and visit for a period of time. So I'd end up with like two families visiting as well at the same time. So, all this extra pressure, clients' needs, my work, my children's, and also my partner's needs and my own needs. Life is busy, but especially during Christmas, it's full on. And then we put that added pressure upon ourselves that everything should be absolutely perfect. But then always something has to go or we have to give it up. And that's always 9 times out of 10 our needs. Okay, sometimes we get put to the bottom of the list. So the holiday season really now for me is to make sure that I have good, strong, healthy boundaries, but also that I take the time to relax and unwind. And what I found for myself was that I actually didn't used to work up to Christmas Eve. I actually used to stop about 4 days before Christmas Eve so that I could enjoy the family time and all the excitement leading up to Christmas, because I was missing out on that. I was really, really missing out on that every single year. So for me, it's a time to relax and unwind. Now, my relaxation and unwinding is actually like reading more spiritual books and, doing some spiritual practices, doing some courses and stuff like that. That's what really lights me up, and I find that relaxing. Whereas my husband will want to go fishing and things like that and literally do absolutely nothing. So I'm not a person that can do absolutely nothing. I'm not 100 to 0. I still have to do things, but I do things in a lot more flow and a lot more balance. So I love to relax, but that is my way of relaxing, being able to spend the quality time with my family and my friends, my immediate family, not necessarily my overseas family, COVID, they haven't been that often. So it can all mount up on top of us. And with the preparations, the shopping, the cooking, and the entertaining, and sometimes, we have to take a step back and prioritizing our own well-being and our needs during this busy time is actually essential. Okay. So you can do this by setting aside time for yourself each day. So for me, and I still carry this on now, I do it as every day as my part of my routine, my spiritual practice, is that I find those first 30 minutes of the day, however long I need, I take. And it might be that I actually do get up earlier. So sometimes when I know I'm busy with things or with work, that I actually feel like I have to get up that bit earlier. I might get up about 5 or 6 in the morning so that I get that me time in. It's really essential for my own health and well-being, and it keeps my energy. So the first thing you want to be doing is in this busy time is set aside that time for yourself every day. So if that's first thing in the morning, you do it, because if you leave it to the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, we run out of time, and that is what goes. Your time goes. It's just one of those things. Can't help it. Doesn't matter how many boundaries you have. It just happens that way. We get put to the bottom of the list. So make sure that you're at the top of the list first thing of the day. So even if it's just a few minutes, that spiritual practice for me is the meditation, it's doing a healing, it might be journaling, or it might be engaging in activities to help you relax or recharge. So it might be going for your walk, it might be, setting yourself up with a beautiful meditation and a healthy breakfast before everybody else wakes up. So you feel nourished, you feel fulfilled, you've got the energy from the right food, from your juice, your food, and then you are good to go for the day. So your cup has been filled. So it's really key throughout this busy time as well, is that you maintain healthy eating habits. Okay, so sometimes, I've been in the situation where, the quality street, the chocolates, the favorites, they all come out because it's Christmas. It's like that tradition in the house. I don't really buy them, but my husband comes home with them. So, there goes sometimes the weak spot for some people. So maintaining those healthy eating habits is really key. So as I said, waking up in the morning and eating the right food straight away with no distraction and no overwhelm around you, you are more likely to follow on through the rest of the day with healthy eating when you start at the beginning of the day with the right foot. So also keep to your exercise and always make sure that you get enough sleep. So for me, sleep is really, really key. I'm such a big sleeper. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm not going to stay up and have conversations with you and watch Netflix till, the Christmas movies. I actually need to go to bed early. So that's what I'm going to do. And, my family are quite used to that with me now. But it's important because it helps you stay energized. And when you stay energized and focused, it's easier to stick to healthy meals. So your vibration is high, your energy is high. And also, planning beforehand for those healthy meals and snacks. And making sure that everything is there for you in your daily routine. Additionally, as I said, setting boundaries and communicating your needs with your loved ones is essential. So, sometimes, I have worked with clients and also myself. I have seen it in myself over periods of time where I've struggled to set the boundaries before family arrive, or people are coming over, or, clients' needs and wishes. It might have been, okay, I'm going to fit her in and this was the old me, do her hair in that space and time, whereas actually that should have been my rest period. So, making sure that you're setting your boundaries. And when you are nourished and when you feel that your cup is full, it's actually easier to install those boundaries. It's normally in that point of weakness where you are tired, where you haven't got the energy, where you haven't eaten good food, you haven't had your rest, that your guard is lowered, and normally that energy vampire comes in and asks you to do something, and it's just you haven't got the energy to push back and say no. But also it's really important that you're communicating your needs with your loved ones. That's essential. And also learning to say no and to delegate tasks to others. If you struggle with support, if you struggle with asking for support, there's actually a healing that can be taken place with that. And it's healing is nine times out of 10, we either look at the overgiving wound or we look at a neglect wound. So this is really key. I work a lot with this with women. And that 9 times out of 10 is the first thing that I need to work on, because they struggle with prioritizing themselves, prioritizing their own health and well-being. So it's actually a wound that can be healed, and you can overcome it 100%. So, delegating, asking others to help you and support you, and that your needs are met. And also go into Christmas with what you want your Christmas to be. 9 times out of 10, we are so busy focusing on the children, what their wishes and their desires are, what your husband's is, what your family's is. But actually, do you ever say, this is what I would like? So one of the things that I do now is I do this when we go on vacation. So we split the time up. It's like, okay, so what do you want out of your vacation? What would you like out of your vacation? What would I like? And we make sure that everybody has got what they wanted out of their vacation. But for Christmas, what we do is, it comes around to a lot of us, food is very centered around the Christmas and the holiday period. So my son and my husband are not interested in the traditional Christmas dinner. They're rule breakers. They're mavericks. So it could be we've had curries on Christmas Day, okay, but I don't care. If that's what they want and that's what makes them happy. So it sometimes is a little bit more work, but we all pull together now, as the kids are old enough to help cook food as well. So it'll be, okay, Rory, what would you like? Okay, Andrew, husband, what would you like? Millie, what would you like? Daughter, me, what would I like? And we all come up with some dishes. It's a bit like potluck, really. And we just put them on the table, and we all get something that we love. So, that's another way that all our needs are met, and things like that. But we also do it through experiences as well. So for me, recently, moving up to Brisbane, we're near the theatre. I love shows. I love musicals. I love plays. I love opera, ballet, anything like that. So for me, what I've organised is we're going to go and see a show in just after Christmas. So that is where I feel like I'm getting my needs met and something that I'm going to enjoy. My husband, it will be fishing, and he'll want to do it on his own. I might go with him, depending on how I feel. So I will go. I don't fish, but I will sit on the beach and read my books and things like that. So, his needs are met, my needs are met, the kids' needs are met, etc. So you go into Christmas feeling excited, but you also come out of Christmas feeling like, as I said, your needs are met. So following these tips, I really want you to come away with feeling excited about the festive season and not dreading it, because you know what? I've been there. I've been at that stage where I've gone into Christmas absolutely dreading it and not enjoyed it. And Christmases are about memories, memories with your family, with your friends, and embodying really great experiences, not going into it feeling in a low vibration. So really, having that communication and managing those expectations is one of the most important things to remember during this holiday season. And also communicating with your family, setting those boundaries, because it's essential to avoid misunderstandings and conflicts. And I've been in that situation where I didn't feel like my needs were met. I went into Christmas running on an empty battery. That's why I used to take so many days off prior to Christmas. I would go into Christmas on an empty battery, and I would be sick, I would be tired, I would be grumpy, and I would not be a nice person to be around. But that was because I was running on empty, and I wasn't getting my needs met as well. And I wasn't totally had the overgiving wound and totally had the people pleasing wound. Okay. And it led to neglect wounds as well. So I'm going to go through my 5 tips, and I'm going to share on the tips of how I've managed to overcome the overwhelm and the disappointment and the regrets of Christmas and running on empty, and how I now set myself up for success. So it's managing your expectations, setting boundaries, finding that time for self-care, and really staying present in the moment, and really understanding that you are checking in on yourself constantly, with your body, with your mind, and with your energy. And the way to do that is to give yourself space and time. So, tip number one, understanding everyone needs. So, the key to a peaceful and present holiday season begins with understanding your needs and those of your loved ones. So, take moments to reflect on what truly matters to you during this time. Is it quality time with people? Is it catching up with your friends? Or is it creating new traditions for your family? Okay, so our new traditions is not eating the traditional food. Okay, it's being a rebel, being a maverick. And actually I quite like it because then I'm not all day in the kitchen. Okay, we're all doing a part. So communicate your desires and encourage your family to do the same. Consider taking the love languages test as well. So this is an interesting one. This was something that I learned from Rebecca Campbell. So everybody has different love languages. So like there's the gift of time, there's gifting, there's being together as well. So my husband loves language is all about spending quality time together, whereas mine is acts of service. So, by doing the love languages test, you can really understand where everybody is at. So, my daughter, her love language is gifts, literally gifts. She absolutely loves it. Okay. So, understanding that makes you realize what everybody's expectations is when it comes to, whether it's quality time, whether it's acts of service, or whether it's actually receiving gifts. So it's quite an interesting one. It's fun and it's insightful, and it's a good way to learn more about others' perspectives and preferences and expectations during this time. So for me, a gift under the tree is beautiful, but I would much rather have if my family and my kids said, okay, you can have the day off, go and do what you want to do, and we're going to clean the house. Oh my God, I would feel like I've hit the jackpot, because that is my love language. Whereas my husband, for him, it would be me spending the day on the beach, like clapping him if he's caught a fish. My daughter, it would be as many gifts under the tree for her and things like that. So it's quite an interesting one. So it really sets you up knowing who your other half is, or your family dynamics and your family, so that you can also meet their needs but also communicate what your needs are as well. So it's actually quite a fun one to do. Okay, tip number 2 is to prioritize your self-care and your spiritual practices, because as I said earlier, maintaining your daily routines and spiritual practices can actually be challenging through this holiday hustle and bustle, but it's crucial when dealing with potential stressors and overstimulation. So, you're constantly on that go, go, go. What's next? Am I making sure that everything's is everybody happy? So by communicating your needs for some alone time and actually telling people I need some alone time. So for me now, it's that conversation of I need to go to bed early, and I'm going to go to bed early. I make it a beautiful ritual. I have my essential oils, I have my beautiful shower, and I get into bed all cozy, and then earpods in, and then I'm doing my healings and my meditations. So I'm more of a person that loves the meditations at the end of the night, because that's my wind down time and I can sleep really, really well. Whereas in the morning, I might do a few healings, but it might be journaling, and it might just be moving my body in flow. So that's more for me. But communicating what you need and telling people I need some just alone time, I need to decompress. And especially if you're like me, who's an empath and a sensitive, and I'm actually a natural introvert. So for me, I do have to go and have some alone time. So what I used to notice with myself in the salon is, because I was so go, 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 and I used to talk loads, and I'm a talker anyway. But at the end of the day of the salon, I actually used to need to have to sit in the salon alone for about an hour before I could actually go back and see the family or leave work, because I needed that amount of time just to come back to center and to be grounded. So, do you need X amount of time for yourself in that respect? Okay, tip number 3. Okay, call in support. Don't hesitate to lean on a few supportive friends during the holiday. Okay, you might even want to create like maybe a WhatsApp group, Facebook Messenger, or have like your Christmas buddy, like a good friend, so that you can have quick check-ins, you can make voice notes, you can share some funny memes, etc. But it's important to have your support crew and your support system around, because it can actually make a significant difference. It might be, you have that conversation with your friend and it'd be like, my mother's driving me mad. And it'd be like, yeah, they're driving me mad. And then you can just decompress and offload, rather than just keep storing that frustration or that overwhelm within you. So, create a beautiful, safe space to be able to offload. So for me, I don't necessarily need that with someone else. But for me, I will come in and I will do an energy clearing or a healing or do some pendulum work and stuff like that, and just release. Because sometimes what can happen is that, when we're in close proximity with people, is that the triggers can come up, the frustrations and the triggers, because you're just being shown of what the healing and the awareness is around that person. So sometimes that you I was going to say, I'm not offering my service as being a healer on speed dial, but have things in preparation that if something comes up, that you've made space in that day to go and decompress, to go and heal it, to go and clear it. And that could be, actually doing yourself a healing session. It could be that you're going for a run. It could be that you're going to go and do some boxing at the gym. Whatever it is to decompress, then make that space. Okay, tip number 4 is embrace your loving limitations. So what do I mean by that? Not every relationship is ready for healing or change, especially during this holiday period. So you might be coming across people. So you might be going to events, you might be going to work events where you're hanging out with a colleague and you don't like them. Okay, they trigger you. It might be that you've got a brother-in-law or a sister-in-law coming over and you're having to cook a dinner or entertain them. It might be that you're hanging out with neighbors and there's somebody there that triggers you. Okay, but also there's that point of not every relationship is ready for change. Not every relationship is ready for healing. So don't put that upon yourself. Okay. It's okay to acknowledge the limitations of certain relationships and focus on compassionate acceptance. Okay. So we don't have to change anybody. Okay. We don't have to put that on ourselves. And for me, Christmas time was triggering. I was on a low battery, but what I used to find was, people used to offload onto me at that time, and I would take it on board, and I'd be the fixer. I'd be trying to fix everything. And actually what I needed to learn was acceptance, and just be and allow people to be who they want to be. They're either ready for healing or they're not ready for healing. They're either ready for a relationship or they're not. And that's okay. All right. So just detach from the outcome. um, Accepting is actually the most powerful step you can take at this present moment. And the last thing is tip number 5: own your own energetic space. So, sometimes not only are we having people come to us, but we could be going to other people. So we could be returning home. To our family or a different environment, and it can disrupt your own emotional, physical, and spiritual energetic space. So be aware of different energies around you. You might be going to someone's house, and if you're an empath and a sensitive, and you have that capacity that you're clairsentient, you can feel emotions. You can walk into a room and you can feel the energy dynamics have changed. Just be aware that you're sealing yourself up, that you're not taking on other people's energy, or you're not taking on energy from any space that you're moving into. So just be aware of those subtle energies around you and take the steps to create a space that aligns with your needs. So whether you're using space clearing tools, so, something that's really quite easy, especially if you're traveling on a plane or anything, you don't want to be taking like sage or smudging sticks. A pendulum is wonderful to clear the energy of a room. You know, you might want to take a couple of crystals with you. It might be that you want to take some aromatherapy oil spray and that you can spray the room. So set up your space as a sacred space, and make sure that you're cleansing yourself regularly as well. So it's just setting up, you know, like healthy boundaries and things like that. So there we go. Those are my 5 tips for setting yourself up for success. I hope you've enjoyed this YouTube video. I hope it's given you some awareness and, you know, some downloads and integration on, yeah, you've got this, you can do this, this is good. So enjoy and have a beautiful Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you in 2024.